What up people, it's your boy Sherlock and we're back again today for another video. Today we're going to be discussing the latest chapter of One Piece, chapter 1060, titled Luffy's Dream. This was a 10 out of a 10 chapter for me. I absolutely love this chapter. It had everything that I absolutely adore about One Piece in it. It had the funny in it. It had like the parts that made me want to cry. It was very nostalgic, pre-time skip One Piece at points. Just having all the crew on the Sunny, on the ship, just kind of kicking it and interacting. The whole Zoro thing and everybody kind of making fun of him was hilarious. I loved that. So it was just a really good chapter overall. But before we get started, I'd really like if y'all could smash that like button. It really helps the channel. It really helps the video. It spreads to everybody else that way and the channel can get found more. So it really helps so much. And sub to the channel if you're not. A lot of people watch the videos and just don't realize they're subbed. So if you could smash that sub button, smash that like button, it really helps me out. So let's get into the chapter. There's no cover story this week, or none that I saw. Sometimes I feel like I don't see them and there ends up being one, but I don't see a cover story for this week. We got a color page and we got the title of Jump, the cover top or the front page of Jump, y'all know. We start off with the crew. We start off with Luffy finding out about Sabo and them framing him for killing Cobra. And of course, like we all guessed, Luffy's not going for any of that. He doesn't believe any word of it. Sabo would never. Robin doesn't quite believe any of it either. And Luffy's basically ready to go try to clear his name and help Vivi out. But yeah, so one of the funniest panels in this chapter was the Chopper, Luffy, Sanji, and Nami, and they're all like making fun of Zoro because he doesn't want to go rescue anybody. And what does Luffy say? Luffy's like, you're an Oni, an Onigashima, and then Chopper's like, you're a green mom. Bro, it's so funny. It's so funny. That's peak One Piece right there. So I really like that. But unfortunately, we find out Caribou's on the ship like he has been basically the whole post-time skip. We've been following this guy the whole post-time skip, and there's theories out there that he is the narrator of One Piece because he knows so much, and it would be hilarious if that's the case, but this guy needs to go. He's annoying. I don't think anybody in the fan base likes this guy. I was talking on the live stream. We're talking about how he might be reporting to Buggy, and that's how Buggy is going to basically fail his way back up to success again, like he always does. So that was a really cool idea. But yeah, get Caribou out of here. We don't want this guy. Get this guy out, bro. To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left. Oh, that's my right. To the left, to the left. After that, we probably get to my favorite part of the chapter, which is the Luffy's Dream, which is the title, of course. So, of course, it's going to be impactful. We get basically another teaser to what Luffy's true dream is, and we see everybody's reaction. And it's kind of like everybody has been reacting to it. It's the same. We got shock and we got laughter. People saying it's an impossible dream, just like Roger's dream. Whitebeard and Odin were like, what, are you a kid? Like, that's an incredible dream. So it's really surreal to see it brought up again, and it really gives me like goosebumps because I feel like the end of One Piece is really coming up on us. We all know this, but I'm really starting to feel it in the writing, and it's kind of scary in a way, but not. It's beautiful, and that part just made me tear up a little when I read it. So I really love that panel with Luffy leaning back, and he's telling us that basically that's what he wants at the end of his dream. So that's a part of his dream. That's his bigger dream. But the Pirate King, I believe, is his main dream, and this is what's gonna come after, which a lot of people have theorized, and I love that theory. I'm 100% with it. It's gonna be a feast, a big party with everyone in the world, all the races in the world. That would be a perfect topper to becoming the Pirate King and then throwing a big ass party for yourself. This also goes into the theory of destroying the red lines with the ancient weapons and that uniting the seas, and that way it's much easier and not impossible for everyone to unite. A darker theory I had when I was reading it and talking about it with some of the guys in my chat was that maybe the big party at the end that everyone's gonna attend is actually gonna be Luffy's execution. And that's something I've kind of felt for a while but don't know how I would like, because Luffy dying at the end kind of mirroring Gold Roger and ending basically the One Piece, because you know if Luffy goes on and kind of lives, it's going to be hard for people to not want more One Piece, and for Oda to get away, basically people are going to want that. So I guess death at the end of One Piece would be super sad for me. You would see a grown-ass man bawl his eyes out for probably about 30 minutes on stream. It would be very devastating for me, but it would be kind of poetic too. You'd kind of get the parallel with the buggy thing when he was about to execute him in Logtown and Luffy smiling, and that kind of be like maybe the last page of One Piece. But that's a darker One Piece and is probably not likely to happen, but it's a cool theory. But yeah, that's probably in the bad outcome section of Oda's SBSs. I also want to bring up that he brought up the fact that Shanks cried. I think it reminded him of his captain, and it's funny, but also like maybe I found him. I found the guy that has Captain Roger's will, the one who is supposed to do whatever Shanks knows they're supposed to do. Basically the destined one, which I feel like is Luffy. But last thing on this first part of the ship is Frankie mentioning, okay, let's go to Laugh-Tale, let's find the last lode poneglyph, and Robin immediately shutting that down and being like, they haven't seen the last lode poneglyph in years, and they have no leads. I'm honestly thinking that the last low poneglyph is in Elbath in the big tree. I think it is the tree of Yggdrasil, and I think there's levels to it with higher classes living on higher levels. And I think at the top is like Jack and the Beanstalk, and it's going to be Loki and his castle, and that's where the lode poneglyph is going to be. There's a reason it hasn't been seen in a long time, because nobody's just going on Elbath like that. They're an independent nation, and then even if you're on Elbath, you're not really going to make it up to the top of the Yggdrasil tree because it's ridiculously big and guarded by giants. I also wanted to quickly mention that Oda really blueballed us with saying there were other names in the newspaper that we would know, and then Luffy being like, no, I don't care about that news, so we didn't get that news either. So that's kind of typical Oda, but damn, bro. Next, we get to the craziest part of the chapter. We go from kind of like emotional for me to crazy, bro. And I was freaking out. So we find out that Sabo is in Leloucia Kingdom, and Leloucia Kingdom was one of the rebelling nations while they were holding the Reverie. They were one of the 8 rebelling nations. Sabo somehow got to Leloucia Kingdom, and he is contacting the Revolutionary Army. They mention he's not trying to keep the call from getting tapped, so he must be desperate, which it looks like he is. He's desperate to tell Dragon and the Revolutionary Army that he did not kill Cobra, and that he saw that that throne is not actually empty. Someone actually sits atop of the world. There is a king of the world. We get to see a few reactions, but it's interesting that we never get to see what Dragon's reaction in this chapter is. I think that's gonna be a huge thing for him. His reaction, because this has been his whole life mission. It's been to take down the world government, the celestial dragons, for whatever reason he has. And it's information he didn't even have. So I'm imagining this is gonna rock his world, and I don't know what decisions this is going to lead to, but I think they're going to be big. But at the same time, with all of this happening, with Sabo calling the Revolutionary Army and trying to let them know, we get the bomb of the chapter, which is the world government, and more particularly looks like Emu. They're seen crossing out Leloucia Kingdom from the map and saying that it will be eradicated. And while the Gorosei is explaining how the island will basically vanish from this world, which I have questions about. So this big cloud above this island of Leloucia Kingdom, it just basically sends down light. I don't know if it's lightning, but it looks just like pure light. And we see what the eradication Emu was talking about. We see how he's trying to put out these lights. Oda basically revealed how God Valley was eradicated off the face of the earth and basically vanished out of nowhere. Same thing just happened to Leloucia Kingdom. So it's good that we got that information. It basically vaporizes the island. And we definitely know it's vaporized because we can see the buildings cracking and crumbling in the background. How Sabo survives this, I don't know. But I know he does survive this. There's no way Oda kills Sabo off screen. He didn't do that with Ace. He at least gave Luffy his time to say goodbye. And I don't think he'd kill another brother off. And there's no way he would off screen it where Luffy could not say goodbye to his only brother left after he has already murdered Ace. So yeah, no chance Sabo is dead. But yeah, back to this dark cloud thing that vaporizes islands in the sky. A lot of people are saying, and I like this idea, that it is the ancient weapon Uranus because it is in the sky and Uranus is a sky god, so it would make a lot of sense. And I mean, it just vaporized an island, so I think that could classify as an ancient weapon. But if Emu always had this, why didn't they just use it on Ohara instead of using a buster call? This is basically a 10-second buster call. So that kind of confuses me. Is it like a limited time thing? And one more question I had about it is, just because you eradicate the island from the map by destroying it, how do you make all the people around the world forget that this was a kingdom? Like, 20 kings just went to a reverie together. The kings aren't just going to be like, oh yeah, there was never a Leloucia kingdom. We don't remember them. Do they brainwash them or something? That's a big question I have. But yeah, seeing Emu and the weapon he has is ridiculous. So I'm excited to see more of him, and I hope we do get to see more of him. But on to the last thing in the chapter, which is Jewelry Bonnie. We go back to the Sunny with the Straw Hats, and they're approaching a cold island, which could be Elbaf, because Elbaf is maybe a winter island because of the Vikings and, you know, their connection with the cold. And when we saw Big Mom's flashback during the Simla stuff, that was kind of like winter, I think, and it was snowing and stuff when they were on Elbaf, so that would kind of make sense. But they run into what they call a warm eddy, which is an upward stream kind of thing that's kind of bubbly, and Zoro ends up cutting it because they see someone in the water and they're trying to rescue her. So Chopper ends up going over somehow, and Luffy grabs onto him and ends up getting pulled off the boat too. I'm not sure if they're gonna make it back on or how they're gonna make it back on, but it looks like they might be getting separated from the crew, which I don't know how I'd feel about. I mean, we just got the crew back, so please, Oda, please don't separate them again. Please, I'm begging you, I'm on my knees, man. So yeah, it's Jewelry Bonnie's time in the story. She's the supernova, her and a Rouge that needs their time in the story. Everybody else has gotten their time in the story, and Bonnie has a little bit more to her with the Kuma situation and the Sorbet Kingdom situation. So I think this might be a way to connect us to the revolutionaries, because Bonnie was there. She can tell the Straw Hats what happened between Sabo, Kuma, and maybe not Emu. I don't think she knows anything about that, but everything that happened with Sabo and Kuma, and somehow that connects them with the revolutionaries because Kuma's about to replay his tape. And I think that's just gonna be maybe the Straw Hats' connections to the revolutionary, because that would be Bonnie's real goal, is to get to Kuma. So she'll probably ally with the Straw Hats, kind of like Law did. It'd be really cool to spend some time with Bonnie. People have been waiting on Bonnie for a long time, so I hope she has a pretty big role in the story. But yeah, guys, I think that is it. This was a jam-packed chapter. There's so much to think about, so much to talk about with this chapter. I might be making more videos about this chapter other than this review, because there's just so much to talk about. Trying to take out as much recency bias as I can. This might be a top 5 chapter. This might be a top 5 chapter. So we'll see. But I'll wrap this video up. As always, I hope everyone's having a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.